Hello everyone, welcome to IX by Heart. Today we are going to discuss a small topic from the political science optional so that you will be able to have a clear decision on the political science optional course which we are going to launch in the recent time. Okay, this is something like a demo class, like how we are going to do the classes, and but a very small example of few words in the political science optional. So firstly, I have introduced myself in the before videos also. I am a civil services faculty since 6 plus years, and I have a long term experience of taking political science optional batches for teaching. And my honors is also from the political science and also the masters. Okay, so today, as you can see, the first thing which is mentioned here, the political theory, meaning, approaches, etc. This is the first chapter from the static part of the political science optional. So most of the times when a newcomer comes into the political science optional, the major worry will be that how I would deal with the static part. And maybe I get confused with the humanities, or would I be able to understand the thinkers? How do I by heart the definitions? Would I misinterpret the questions, etc.? This will be the confusion, because we know that the rest of the syllabus is easy because it is more and more connected with the GS. But this, where it is a static part, that like which is not connected with the GS more and more, there you will need a proper guidance from a faculty. Okay, so today we are going to see that. So what is political theory and the meaning, and thereafter the approaches will be the complete chapter of it. As of now, we will see what is political theory. Here, as you can see, the word has the two things. One is the political and the other one is theory. So firstly, we need to get to know the word specific things here, because optional is more about the details and the specifications, and the main subject always with GS paper is more about the generalizations. So that's why we need to have a clear clarity whenever we are using certain words for the optional. So in the beginning, whenever I take my optional courses, I always explain all the words regarding the political science optional. Then only I will further move into the subject, so that like you will have a clear clarity. So here to begin with, as we can see, we have to first understand the word political. So politics, political are the words which are derived from the Greek word, which is the police. So the police is the word which meant the Greek city state. See, whenever we refer the word political science, we always get reminded of one area, that is Greece. All the foundational values of the political science are laid from the Greece, Aristotle, Plato, and even the Socrates. Though we don't know about his existence, his things which are written by the Aristotle and like conveyed by the Plato, etc. So everything comes from one city, that is Greece. That's why the major words, the major ideas, everything you see from the root level will they go back to the Greek area. Okay, so now the Greek city state used to be called as the police, and from there you have taken the word politics or the political. That is a root word. Obviously, the words have a very long journey. So, the activities associated with the governance of a country, area, especially the debate between parties having power, how you get into the power, not like why or like where or anything, how exactly you get into the power to rule the majority, how the minority forms an organization to create the better society, that is political. So political is dealing with the power. Power is informal also it can be, or formal also it can be. When it is authenticated, when it is legalized, it will be formal. When it is not legalized, then it can be informal. But the politics is the authentication of the power, making it more and more legalized is the politics. How do you get it? So, the politics, Aristotle declared that man is by nature a political animal. which he meant that only within the political community the human beings can live the good life. So the politics is a measure so that you will get more into more of the civilizational values. So that is what Aristotle has believed. And since the journey of the human beings as the early man, or like gathering together everything, the humans had the concept of the politics. And the politics is a very very age old thing. It is not a modern world phenomena like any other subject. That's why you consider that the political science as the master science for the rest of the subjects in the humanities. So politics is defined on the basis of distinction between the private realm and the public realm. So the state, which is a combination of territory, population, and the sovereignty government, these four elements together will be considered as state, which is separated from the civil society, which is a combination of different groups of people. That is the politics, which is the major thing which consists the state. And how they get into the legal power is the concept of the politics, and how the civil society gets the benefit out of it is the concept of the politics. Okay, so the next thing is, see, majorly what happens in the political science is that you are supposed to remember the thinkers as well as like what they have said, and directly they might these statements might come into the exam as the question, or they might ask you without telling the person's name also, directly only by giving the statement. So Aristotle declared that man is by nature a political animal. He meant that the, see, usually you might have heard the word man is by nature social animal, but here we are saying the word he is by nature a political animal. It means that the political part of the human life is inevitable. So it is obviously a inner or inevitable part for the human life, for the better and the most development which we have seen as a civilization. So politics is an ethical activity concerned with the creating of the just society. So ethics is something which the majority of the society accept that it is correct, and morals are something which the individually you accept that it is correct. So ethical activity we are calling it as. So the politics is resolved with what majority accept that this is correct, and how we are going to follow it, and how it is useful for the betterment of the society. So, furthermore, to see the detailed things, so when an organization is designed to regulate the whole community, it takes the character of the polity. See, you have the word polity also, and you have the word constitution also in your GS, isn't it? We have discussed this. So, the polity is the combination of the constitution and the working of the constitution. Constitution is the written part of the constitution. So, whenever an organization works to regulate the whole community, then it assumes the character of the polity. So, polity therefore denotes an organization where the rules are made, decisions are taken for the whole community. So, you are taking the decision, the acts, and the bills, and the different procedures, schemes, IPC, everything which we are deciding that how the society is regulated, controlled, managed. That is the more of the political definition. So the term political refers to something that is public. It is distinguished, private, or something applicable to the limited number of the persons. That is the simple thing which we were talking, the public realm and the private realm, the civil society and the state. So whatever the state control on the civil society betterment by the state. So that is the more of the polit. So now, one word we have completed out of the political theory. The first word was politics, and the next word is theory. So we are supposed to know them individually and in a combination, and thereafter the differences also. Okay. So now the theory is a word which is taken from the Greece again. So as I have said why it is like that, then it is the word basically called as theoria. So it means that see, every word will have a long journey to go, and in that long journey, how the word has origin will not have any relevance to the present usage. So here we will have a broader meaning and also a very very narrow sense of the meaning. So according to the Arnold Brecht, you know that the theory is in a very broad sense anything which is related to the entire teaching which is related to a concept or a fact or anything on a topic, that will be considered as a theory. See, what is your theory, what is my theory, what is the theory of the government, what is the theory of the vaccine. So everything is like a theory. The facts, the explanation, the conception of the history, the value judgments, everything you are observing, you are coming out of it, you are reading, you are coming out of it, and then like you have understood, you are coming out of it. So that is a theory. So you have understood something and you are telling something. You have assumed something, you are telling it. You have perceived something, you are telling it. That is theory, because this is a broad definition, isn't it? So, in the narrow definition, it is explanatory thought only at the primarily state. Explanatory thought. See, thought means it may or may not have the factual evidence that it has happened. So, most of the times, it may not support in the real world that it has happened like this. So, now if I say that there is a heaven, and my religion suggests that if I do the good things, I will go into the heaven, then that is a theory. So now maybe the heaven is existing, or the heaven may not be existing also. That is purely a theory. So theory has the possibility of being true. Theory has the equal possibility of not being true also. But you have heard it, you have read about it, and you have seen the imaginative description of it. So then you accept somewhere or perceive it somewhere that, oh, this is the theory. So now you combine both the words. What was the first word? Political. What it was relating with, which is the state and the control on the civil society, the minor majority controlling the major majority, and how you get into the power authoritatively, legally, that was political. And now compare that word with the theory. So, theory is something which you have assumed, perceived, imagined, read about, or understood. In that way, policies, principles, depending upon your experiences, that is theory. So now in the combination, we are going to see the political theory. See, this is a basic definition what I have given. Because before we go into the thinkers' definitions and everything, we have to understand the layman's portions of the view and how the journey has begun to understand these words. Then you will be able to understand the differences of the definitions. If not, definitions will look very Greek and Latin to you. That's why we have to go through this journey of understanding.
For the continuation of the session, please watch part 2 video where we discuss about the differences between political theory, political philosophy and political science.